look back, it's too late now. My days are hours and I don't know how, but I believe the great is still yet to come. I won't stop fighting, man, until I'm done. Hello and welcome to the 75th Breakfast Ball. I'm your host, Bob Cardia, and today we're going to talk about belief systems. First things first, if you could smash that subscribe button. We've been picking up subscribers at a great pace lately, and I really, really appreciate you guys doing that. It's makes you feel good getting the message out there and talking a little bit about performance and sports psychology and golf. Also, if you get anything out of the podcast, remember, when you're rich and famous, we get 10%. But anyway, today we're going to talk about the belief system. Interesting, I was watching Tony Robbins the other day, and I love a lot of what his stuff talks about, but he started off this one talk that I was watching, that beliefs either create or beliefs destroy. Interesting, right? It's so true. When you really think about it, if you believe you're athletic, if you believe you're a math person, for example, or you believe you're not, it definitely creates or destroys. You know, there's been all kinds of studies done. So I decided to dive a little bit deeper into it. And it was a TED Talk. I watched it a while back, but they were discussing types of belief systems. And there's a fixed belief system versus a growth belief system. And the fixed system, basically they're saying, is the way that you shouldn't teach or you shouldn't parent. Saying to somebody, hey, if they did well on a math test, you just must be naturally great at math. As opposed to a growth system where you say, boy, you did pretty darn good on that test, but you must have really worked hard at that. And very subtle difference, but watching this Stanford study that I saw, it shows that what parts of the brain get activated on certain type of feedback. And people with a fixed mindset, okay, when they get a report card or a grade, that activates a certain part of the brain in a positive response way. Whereas someone of a growth mindset, when they're challenged to increase their knowledge or to work out a problem or learn from a wrong answer, that stimulates part of their brain. And it's a way of teaching, a way of understanding things. And I guess the point being is you really need to monitor the way that you think. You need to figure out what your belief system is. Because like Tony Robbins said, your belief system is basically, the word belief is a certainty. You're certain, I believe in whatnot. And, when you believe something a certain way and it's a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset, you're really limiting yourself. And, I experienced that in teaching golf all the time. Well, I actually had it this past weekend, or last weekend, I should say. Someone said, well, I'm not very athletic. Things come naturally to my brother. Things come naturally to my cousin. Yeah, you know what? That is a fixed mindset. And when you look at it that way, they actually did a same TED Talk. It was a study of seventh graders, and they gave them all puzzles, right? And they the different fixed versus growth mindset, and basically they gave half the group one answer, hey, you're naturally great at this, and the other, you must work really hard at this. And so then after they gave them the puzzles, they did another one, and they said, or another question to the group, would you guys like a hard puzzle or would you like an easy puzzle? And the fixed people almost all picked the easy puzzle, right? And the growth people almost all picked the hard puzzle. Well, as fate would have it, okay, they gave them both the hard puzzle. And the fixed people, who couldn't do it, they shut down and quit. And as a matter of fact, they actually, when asked about the results to that exam after that puzzle afterwards, they lied about it. They said that, or a lot of them lied about it, said that, they did better than they did because, it short-circuited their ego that they couldn't do the puzzle. Whereas, we always say, to my guys that coach or that play for me, or the students I teach, we never lose. We either learn or we win. And when you go into it, that is the growth mindset. So I guess what I'm saying, coaches out there, parents out there, if you're working with especially youth, pumping them full of sunshine is fine, okay, if you do it in a growth kind of way. Telling someone they're natural or they're better than everybody else, or they're a genius and whatnot, it tends to create a fixed mindset, ego-driven. Whereas opposed to if you give it to them as like Gary Player said, or I don't know, when you read these quotes, it's either Gary Player or Arnold Palmer. I don't know which one said it, but I think it's Gary Player. But I love either one. But the harder I work, the luckier I seem to get. And when you have that kind of mindset, and I can say from personal, I had the privilege of meeting Paul Runyon many, many years ago. And I believe he's still in the Guinness Book of World Records for shooting underneath his age the most times. And I just happened to be in a class when I was a young assistant. And everybody was fairly intimidated by Mr. Runyon for a number of reasons, but especially, him being the greatest short game player that ever lived. And I got it out of my mouth somehow. I'm like, Mr. Runyon, how did you become so great at the short game? And, he said, well, I used to hit golf balls after work for an hour or two a day. And everyone's like, yeah, that's the way you truly become great. And he's like, no, then I'd chip and putt for another 2 to 4 hours. And like, wow, okay, that's... but that's how he beat Sam Snead in the PGA Championship. As legend would have it, I guess he chipped in or one putted on every hole, which is another thing, guys. If you're going to work on your game, two things that the late great Dave Pells said, and that's a shout out to Dave Pells because I love his stuff. But how good a putter you are isn't nearly as important as where you putt from. Meaning, if you're not within 10 feet of the hole, the chances of making the putt aren't that great. And second of all, back to Runyon, if you believe you're a constant work in progress and you're working towards, mastery, knowing that you're going to fail, but knowing that the more you practice, the better you get, the luckier you get in terms of mastery and a growth belief system, that's the way to go. Anyway, I thought I'd share with you guys tonight. Today is a night show as opposed to a morning show. I can say also that reason for that is shout out to my great friends Brian and Lori. Thank you. I love being the godfather. Their baby's due next month, and I'm just thrilled and proud to be there. Anyway, again, if you get something on this podcast and you become rich and famous, please, 10% back to the house. And also keep that subscribe button. If you also write "I love the breakfast ball" in the comments section, I just got new gift cards in, so you'll go into a drawing for a Starbucks gift card. Look forward to hearing from you. If you have any comments, please let me know. If you need merch, you can go to our website. I'd love to have you. Anyway, folks, great talking to you, and can't believe it's 75 weeks, but I will see you guys all next week. Thank you for watching the Breakfast Ball. Next time. Glass of bourbon, my bourbon, my bourbon, alcohol, because no great story ever started with "I'll have a salad."